San Diego is pretty much the perfect California city, and in this video we'll explore the historic structures in Old Town, the rugged bluffs of the Sunset Cliffs, the taco shops and bars that line the Gaslamp Quarter, and even take a ride on a historic carousel. If you're looking to have an amazing day in San Diego, look no further, and let me know if you want to see more videos like this in the comments. We made it to San Diego. First stop, North Park. North Park is a community in San Diego that's self-described as where hipsters, craft beer, families, and music converge. Amie and I have spent a lot of time in North Park over the years, so we wanted to start this video with a visit to one of our favorite coffee shops, Wholesome. They're known for their cold brew drinks, and I highly recommend you get the banana bread one. It's my personal favorite. If you're into shopping or good food, North Park is a place you can spend the entire day. Before heading on to the next stop, I recommend walking around a little bit and checking out two of our favorite shops. Pigment is Amie's favorite shop, and it's a stunning collection of plants, clothing, gifts, and even furniture. It's not my jam, but I'm super impressed by how aesthetically pleasing it is when you walk in.
I mean, have you ever seen a more beautiful place than this store? I love it here.
While Amie continued to peruse the store, I headed across the street to one of my favorite shops in the town, Verbatim Books. I mean, even before you enter this amazing bookshop, you have to appreciate how cool the outside murals are, right? It looks like a giant bookshelf as you're walking up to it. Luckily, the inside's just as cool with a picturesque back wall, lots of chairs to read at, and one of the best collections of books I've seen outside of my favorite spot, the Last Bookstore in Los Angeles. They have sections dedicated to travel, children's books, and even ornamental books if you're just looking for something to look good on your bookshelf. Amie thinks Pigment is the best store here, but I'll take the bookstore any day of the week. I mean, look at this mural. So cool. Heading on. As we leave North Park, I wanted to specifically mention Balboa Park as well. It's one of my favorite places in San Diego as it has some of the best museums in the entire state, but you really need to have a half to a full day to appreciate it, so I didn't want to rush through it in this video. If you're looking for some of my recommendations in Balboa Park, I love the Air and Space Museum and I love the Miniature Train Museum. But basically any museum you're interested in is going to be great. Alright, back to the main video. Made it to downtown San Diego, we're going to the statues, and then we're going to the aircraft carrier. If you've walked along the water in downtown San Diego, then no doubt you've seen the USS Midway and the Unconditional Surrender statue. The statue was designed to resemble the 1945 photograph that was taken during VJ Day in New York City. It was supposed to be a temporary installation in 2007, but it's so well loved that it still sits along the water in San Diego today. Be sure to also see the National Salute to Bob Hope and the military, which is located right next to the statue, and which honors how Bob Hope was so impactful in supporting the troops throughout his career. After checking these both out, it was about a 5-minute walk over to the USS Midway Museum. The USS Midway is one of the top tourist attractions in San Diego and one of only a few aircraft carriers you can tour like this in the United States. The Midway is the longest serving aircraft carrier, and it served from 1945 to 1992. Supposedly over 200,000 sailors served on it during its time in use. I'm too small to exist on this. I have to tuck my head everywhere I go. Amie though, she's fine.
Got space.
It's just me. There are 3 major floors that you can see while you're walking around, and it's so massive that you can easily spend a few hours trying to see it all. I like hearing the noise of the dental teeth drilling in this area. It basically feels like a small city, and it's incredible to see how much they packed onto this ship. By far, my favorite part of the museum is the flight deck. When you walk up there, you get to bask in the sunny San Diego weather, and there's dozens of different planes that you can see, a couple of which you can actually climb inside if you're interested. I mean, this is pretty cool. Where else can you tour an aircraft carrier and see a city skyline behind you? The museum hosts hundreds of events every year, and there was one going on when we were there, so we weren't able to enter the ship's island and the bridge. Normally you can enter these areas and explore as well. After leaving the flight deck, we headed into a few more areas of the boat, including the Command Information Center, before making our way out and on to our next stop in San Diego. About a 10-minute walk from the USS Midway is the popular shopping and dining area known as Seaport Village. This is a cool place to walk around and explore with art, great coastline views. You can see all the way over to Coronado, and of course, lots of shops you can look at. You like Seaport Village?
Yeah, it's a really relaxed, chill vibe, especially with the weather. That's so nice.
If it's running when you're there, then you should definitely ride the historic carousel that was built in 1895 and has handcrafted animals you ride on.
This carousel is over 120 years old, and I'll never forget coming here when I was little.
I never came here when I was little. This was my first experience ever on the carousel. I'm excited. I love historic carousels. This carousel was originally installed in Texas and went many different locations before finally arriving here and replacing a smaller one in 2004.
This one actually goes really fast.
It does. We're going fast now.
Wow.
Woo! I'm gonna be dizzy after this. Great job, buddy. That was a lot of fun. It cost $5, but it's fun to support history and to keep it running. Now we're finally going to get tacos. San Diego is an amazing city for food, so we're gonna give you 2 recommendations for lunch, but by far my favorite place to go is Tacos El Gordo. When you enter, you're gonna stand in line for the different meat that you want, but I highly recommend you get the spicy pork. I never get anything but this as it's so good. All right, so I made a lot of tacos in my life, but to me, this is the absolute pinnacle. Tacos El Gordo. Cheers. It's so good. You've got to go down here. You got to try this one. Amy hasn't eaten here since she was a vegetarian, so she gets to try it as well.
Yes, I think I had cactus tacos. That is good. I do not miss the cactus tacos.
They also gave us a free cookie, which was very nice. Thank you, Tacos El Gordo. I usually go to the original one south of the city, but that one is just as good, and it's cool to be able to do it in downtown. This is the historic Gaslamp Quarter that we're walking right now. If you were here at about 8 p.m. at night, this would just be packed with people on a weekend, but it's not bad on a weekday during the day. If you need some ice cream after your meal, that's a great place for it. We didn't go as big as we planned to at the taco shop, so we could go over to our second food recommendation for you if you're looking for something a little bit more upscale and fun, and that's Werewolf. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you, Werewolf is one of the most popular places in Gaslamp right now, so if you go on a weekend, be prepared to wait. We were there on a weekday though, and we didn't have much wait and were able to sit down at the bar and have some of their famous brunch. Alright, so this is the 18th best brunch spot in the United States.
What is happening? I don't even know how to cut this.
Oh, this is their famous pork belly Benedict right here, and then I can't remember what this is, but it's like an Uncrustable with icing. Straight up health food. I'm excited. I had pretty high expectations, but I have to say it met them for me. This was incredibly good, and it was the type of place you needed a nap after. Also, shout out to Taylor, who was an awesome waiter. Totally different than tacos, but that place was number 18 on the best brunch in America on Yelp. I have to say it was pretty incredible.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, heading on to a few more stops.
We made it to Old Town, and we are touring what is supposed to be the most haunted house in America.
I don't know what I was doing there, but I guess those were supposed to be my ghost sounds. After paying for our tour, our guide gave us a 10-minute introduction and then let us loose to explore the famous Whaley House, which is supposed to be one of the most haunted in the United States. The Whaley House is one of the oldest brick buildings in San Diego, built in 1857. It served as a house for the Whaley family and as a courtroom for the city and a general store in the front. Have you seen any ghosts yet?
No. I'm looking now.
While the house is small, it's a great place to explore for many different people. First, if you're interested in the supernatural, you can walk around the many different rooms, and you can actually pay to take a tour at night if you want to. Second though, if you're interested in San Diego's history, there's a lot of that here, and there's many different displays that tell you more about the house and about the area. Lastly, it's just a cool historic house to explore, and it's been well preserved, so it's fun to just walk around and see it. We walked around for about 30 minutes, and I have no ghost stories to report from our visit. Let me know if you have any in the comments though. After leaving the Whaley House, we set out to explore more of Oldtown San Diego. This is the oldest settled area in San Diego and the site of the first European settlers in California. And one of the best ways to experience the history is to go to Oldtown San Diego State Historic Park, which is about a 5-minute walk from the Whaley House. Here you can find San Diego's original courthouse, which is a small museum with a couple different exhibits, and you can go to one of the many different shops, including the always popular pipe shop.
There's some wild looking pipes in there. I had no idea that had a whole world of its own.
The visitor center also has a diorama that shows an original layout for the Oldtown San Diego area, and it's crazy to think about how sparse a big city like this was only 150 years ago.
This is a really fun state park. There's restaurants, there's shops, there's history. It's worth walking around.
If you want to pick up a souvenir, stop by Old Town Market, which is right on the outskirts of the State Historic Park. They have a little bit of everything here, that's for sure. Leaving Old Town San Diego, we made our way towards the Point Loma Peninsula and Liberty Station.
Liberty Station is another amazing place in San Diego for food and shopping. Stone Brewing has a spot here, but we're just here to get some coffee before we go watch the sunset.
Bird Rock Coffee Roasters is another one of my favorite San Diego area coffee shops. Their website states that they're one of the premier spots for San Diego coffee, and I wouldn't argue with that. From there, we raced over to the Sunset Cliffs to see if we could catch a famous San Diego sunset. Even though it seemed pretty sunny in the city, when we pulled up, it was pretty cloudy by the coast. Even without a great sunset, this area is incredible to see and to just stroll along and take in all of the amazing coastal views. Parking can definitely be challenging here, especially during the summer and on weekends. I recommend getting there a few hours before sunset and trying to find a place to park along the street or at the Sunset Cliffs Natural Park. From there, you can just take your time and find a bench or a safe spot along the coastal bluffs to sit and enjoy the views.
I can't even tell you how many times I've been here, and this is still one of my favorite views in the entire state. I mean, how do you beat this?
Be sure to note the signs about unstable cliffs and don't test that by going out to the edge, as people have fallen and died here from getting too close. The last spot I always try to see when I'm here is the stairs that you can take down to the beach itself. It was a pretty high tide when we were there, so there wasn't any beach, but you could still walk the stairs down and get a lot of great views.
You can come all the way down to the bottom, and even though the tide is high, there's still this little cave that you can see down here, which is pretty cool. But I mean, the coastline views are where it's at. Look at that. I'm getting out of here before a wave hit Amie and I, though, because I saw some waves come up pretty close earlier.
After taking as many pictures as humanly possible, we made our way back up the steps to see a little bit of the sun shining through before it fully hid behind the clouds.
I think that's as good as it's gonna get for the sunset tonight, but we have one more spot to show you before we end this video.
For our last stop of the night, we headed to the South Park area to go to one of my favorite unique bars in the city, Mothership.
Check this out.
If you really want to understand Mothership, then you need to read the backstory on their website, which talks about an astronaut crew landing on a faraway planet and not finding anything that they need to repair their ship, and so they just decide they're going to make the best of what they have and set up a bar on the planet to make drinks and engage with the locals. Honestly, Mothership is one of the most fun bars I've been to in a long time. They have an incredible drink menu with lots of interesting combinations. They have great food, which happens to be vegan as well, and the entire experience is just awesome.
Hope you enjoyed our time in San Diego.
We had an awesome day, and if you want to see other San Diego videos, you can see a Coronado video here and a La Jolla video here.
We'll see you on the next one.